Hey guys, this is Miss Aspinwall, and today we're going to be starting a new topic that we haven't done before already this year. As I'm putting these images up on the screen, I want you to think about each one and what comes to your mind when you see these images. I'll give you a few seconds just to look at what I'm putting up here. When you look at these, automatically your mind goes in different directions. Why? These are all symbols. They're basic examples of a deeper concept that we'll be talking about in literature. But these are symbols. They represent something else. Of course, we can see the flag. Of course, we think it's beautiful because it's red, white, and blue. It's something that we see in our classrooms. It's something we see around our country. But what does that flag actually symbolize? What does it represent? Well, to me, it represents my freedom as an American. Take this, little golden arches. What does that symbolize? Hot fries, McNuggets, but it does symbolize food. So this is what we're going to be talking about today. The symbols that we see in our world, and then on a much deeper level, what are the symbols that we can find in literature? Some are positive, some are obviously very negative, but they are symbols nonetheless, and they represent a deeper meaning. So what is a symbol? A symbol is a literary device that contains several layers of meaning, often concealed at first sight, and is representative of several other things. A symbol is using an object, a person, a place, word, or an action that means something more than its literal meaning. All right, let's just do a little activity. When you look at this image, some of you automatically recognize it. Some of you may have to sit and think for a minute, but let's just see if you can figure out what product this goes with. Well, of course, Lay's, my favorite brand of chips. How about this image? Some of you automatically recognize it. When you see this symbol, it represents Levi's. How about this symbol? Of course, John Deere. I'm getting hungry thinking about this. Pringles. Catching on? You see symbols all around you every day. Of course, this is my personal favorite vehicle, but I had to put that in there. Flashback. Alright, so we see symbols, of course, that automatically when we see them represent something else. Brings to mind things. So that's a very elementary, very basic view of what symbols do for us. So now let's go a little deeper. We'll think about some symbols that we actually might see or read about in literature. Red. When you see the color red, or when something is described as red, what are some things that come to mind? Red can be seen as danger, blood, love. How about the color black? When you're reading a story and something's described with the color black, fear, death. Now let me ask you this. Birth, purity. What color do you think is associated with winter? Of course, white. Now, I'm going to give you a couple of other words. Think about a snake. When we see a snake in a story, some people might say temptation, evil, danger. Again, when you hear or read about a snake in a story, it's not usually a positive thing. It symbolizes evil or danger. A diamond ring. What could that symbolize in a story or in life? Marriage. Then, of course, we've got these words I want you to think about. I'm going to give you the words first. Then I want you to see if you can come up with what symbol fits all of these. Sin, education, technology, temptation, health, New York. What can all these words have in common? An apple. So now think about this. What do teachers like? What are a classic teacher gift? A symbol that you see on any type of teacher gift? Usually an apple. So it represents our education. Apple computer. Technology. Apple a day keeps a doctor away. Our health. The Big Apple is New York. But then you go deeper. Sin. Temptation. For those of you, that might represent Adam and Eve. The apple represented sin and the temptation. Going back over here, the serpent represented temptation in the Garden of Eden. So you can see how some of these symbols are very evident and very prominent in the things that we read. How about a dove? What could that symbolize? Peace. Let's talk about the color symbolism that we see in Disney movies.
This is Walt Disney, and he created films that inspired millions and millions of people. And he chose colors carefully on each character to create a feeling.
I got a feeling about this one.
Today, I will be explaining you how Walt Disney and Pixar Studios chose carefully the colors from their characters from the very first movie, so from Snow White all the way to the last films like Moana and Coco. Color changes the way we look at characters, and this guy changed the way we portray colors. Let's take yellow for example. Yellow is often used for happiness or black for evil. Colors are often used to define who and how the character is. In the case of Disney, they usually use colors to show who the hero is while using bright and saturated colors like orange, yellow, blue, and green, while the villains have darker colors such as black, red, and purple to portray their evilness. Every color tells a story, so let's go over the most important colors that Disney and Pixar have used for their characters. Let's start with red. Red means strength, energy, determination, and passion. Fun fact, in the movies, comics, and stories, the protagonist or hero is usually dressed in red and often combined with blue. So let's start off with the Beast. The Beast is first dressed in red to show how bad and evil he is, and then he's dressed in blue, making its personality change visually, from bad to good. Miguel from Coco is also dressed in red, and it basically tries to portray that he's really passionate about music. Secondly, we have orange, and orange tries to portray fascination, creativity, deceit, enthusiasm.
I, Nicholas Wilde, promise to be brave, loyal, helpful, and trustworthy.
Even though you're a fox?
Nick Wilde portrays deceit at first because everybody thinks of him as a liar. Moana dressed in orange as she's enthusiastic about the sea and going out and exploring it. Yellow is probably one of the easiest ones to see. Yellow portrays joy, happiness, intellect, and energy. Belle, for example, she represents the intellect because she simply reads a lot.
No, don't obsess over the weight of life's problems. Remember the funny movie where the dog died? Oh, sadness, we don't have time for this. We'll just have to go around. Take the scenic route.
Wait, Joy, you could get lost in there.
Think positive.
Okay.
Joy, I mean, what to say about her? She's simply joy, happiness itself. Green portrays safety, endurance, healing, growth, and hope, while blue portrays trust, loyalty, confidence, and stability. Cinderella at first, her dress was sparkling white, but in a moment of the movie, when she's dancing with the prince, The dress looks blue because of the lack of light. Then later, on the official remastered versions, they officially changed the color to blue. Now, as I was saying, blue is a really interesting color. Did you notice that every Disney heroine in some part of the movie wears blue colored clothes? Today's society has made blue a really masculine color, but Disney have turned blue into a really feminine color. That is to say that its protagonists are strong, inspired confidence, and have value. And yes, those topics can also attribute to men. In short, Disney launches a message of empowerment wearing blue to its heroines. Purple stands for power, nobility, luxury, and ambition. Let's take Aurora for example. Wait, hold on. Wait, what are you doing here again? There's something that Mr. Walt Disney was not thinking. Or maybe it's just their fault. Anyways, let's continue. White portrays light, goodness, innocence, purity. That's why Ernesto de la Cruz is dressed in white at the beginning of the movie, but then at the end, he's clearly not. And yes, this is a spoiler. Everybody uses colors in cinema, but Disney and Pixar are the ones that truly use it. The most important thing about them is that they aren't just selling entertainment, but they're also selling emotions as well. That's why color is so important. It's not just visually attractive, but it's also part of a story and the development of a character.